Oh, someone is suggesting.
If there is no one ready,
Someone is suggesting. All right, please, can we have? Can I have the names of the fellows so we can go in alphabetical order? Names of the fellows.
Some of them are.
We'll see as it goes. Interesting.
I think my name is the first of the list.
Interesting. It's not even you.
This one has left. This one has left.
All right. Alphabetical order in surname, not first name. If you want first, okay, let's do alphabetical order in first name. So.
I can go first actually.
All right. So let's have you then take. Or in fact, if we do surname, the two Adeoye comes first. All right. So let's start there. Should be the first person.
Okay, today is our first day. All right, so can we sing?
She narrowly escaped October 1.
Narrowly, actually. Because my mom told me it was fast to walk. Narrowly. Thank you. This way.
Happy birthday.
Show your face.
My blushing face.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. May the good Lord bless you.
Amen.
May the good Lord bless you. May the good Lord bless you and you. May the good Lord bless you. Let's go, you now. How old are you now? How old are you now, Lydia?
How old are you now?
Go.
I'm +1 today. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, Prof. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Ogundele. Thank you, everyone. Okay, so thank you. I must say a very big thank you to our facilitators, people that have imparted knowledge to us so far. I've learned a lot, just being here. And thank you for bringing me into a health world, being an economist. Thank you very much, sirs, for having us. Really appreciate it. I've been making a presentation this morning on Child Rights Act, adoption in Nigeria, and its implications for, adolescent fertility and school enrollment. Just a bit of background on that. Nigeria is like the 11th out of the top 20 countries in the world with the highest rate of child marriage. And as at 2017, a report from UNICEF actually stated that 43% of girls in Nigeria are married before the age of 18, and 17% of them before the age of 15. And these figures are even worse when you look at the northern part of Nigeria, especially in the northeast and the northwest. While the prevalence of child marriage seems to decrease over time, according to a study, an interesting study actually by Fatisi, Adedini and Mubolaji 2021, the prevalence in Nigeria has increased over the 7-year inter-survey period. Head of school children rate in Nigeria has oscillated between 10.5 and 15 million, thereabouts, for more than a decade, and its growing was due to insecurity. The burning issue here is that the issue of child marriage has attracted a lot of attention from the government and interventions over time. However, the problem persists. One of the interventions by federal government is the passing of the Child Rights Act in 2003, which stipulated that the legal age for a girl child to get married is 18 years. However, as at 2019, study by CeHPBE, in 2019, we're able to know that only 24 out of 36 states in Nigeria has adopted the policy, leaving out 12. And this is just, a rundown of the states that have adopted the policy so far and the year of adoption rather. So, so I was just playing around with mixed data, the reports in particular, mixed 2021. So I tried to chart the incidence of, the percentage of married girls before age 18 within the range of 20 to 21, 15 to 49, and 15 to 19. So particularly, I'm looking at that, the range of 20 to 24. So that's like the percentage of girls that go married before 18. And we can see that this is just among states that have adopted the policy so far. And those are the 24 states. And you can see that we have the incidence as high as 49% in Taraba, and as low as 5.9 in Abia State. But emphasizing again that this is just among the states that have adopted the policy so far. Now looking at the states that are yet to adopt the policy. And so that the 12 states that are yet to adopt it. We have as high as 74% in Bauchi, 72% in Jigawa, 69% in Katsina, and 67% in Zamfara. So we can see it's quite interesting to see that the states with the highest incidence or prevalence of child marriage are also the states that are not adopting the policy, at least just from a mini sketch. Now, why is this a problem? Why should we bother about it? In literature, it's documented in literature that child marriage is not without consequences. It's not without, side effects or impacts. And one of the very recent study in this regard is Lebney et al. 2023, which stated in their, study that child marriage drives adolescent pregnancy, and it has implications for adolescent mothers and their children. With regards to high-risk pregnancy, emotional distress, limited access to jobs and educational opportunities. The seminal work by Kleppinger et al. 1997 and Fletcher and Wolf also documented that young mothers are less likely to be healthy, more likely to have a large family size, more likely to drop out of school, more likely to have low labor market potential. That's the similar trend when we check studies in the Nigerian context as well. However, we don't have as much studies in the area of actually evaluating the effectiveness of a policy. Do you understand? Because there have been interventions over time. So how well have these interventions actually impacted on the incidence of child marriage or fertility, as it were? But these particular contexts have been implemented in countries like Mississippi, Ethiopia, Mexico, looking at the effect of a change in marriage laws in their varying contexts. But in the Nigerian context, not quite. Now, I'm very careful to say that no study has done this. Before, Professor Asha would tell me 10 studies that have actually done this. So I'm careful to say that, but I can actually say that, the study that I found so far is the one by CeHPBE 2019, and it's really he evaluated the CRA, but not in the context of outcomes, like selected outcomes, like maybe education and adolescent fertility. And that is the major reason why I want to study this. So I'm interested in determining the implication of the CRA on adolescent fertility in Nigeria, and I'm also interested to determine the implication of CRA on school enrollment in Nigeria. The primary or the main question of this research is what are the implications of CRA on adolescent fertility and school enrollment in Nigeria, and how are these different, across adopters and non-adopters, like states that have adopted the policy so far and those that haven't. And I think I've already touched a bit on the existing literature the studies, what the findings so far from, different studies, varying studies. So in terms of methodology now, the data will be sourced from the NDHS, and maybe in terms complementing this with the mixed data set in case there are variables that that are not quite available in that. Then the estimation technique is the binary logistic, just like Prof taught us yesterday, that if your outcome variable, it's not just probabilistic, but now is a dummy because it's like 2 outcomes. Then you have to use a binary logistic. But if you have more than 2 categories, then you use a multinomial logistic regression. I was actually thinking of a staggered diff in diff. However, I don't want to be too ambitious because I know that I have a couple of months to submit these manuscripts, and I'm still trying to get through understanding the concept around that, because that will permit me to actually evaluate the impact of the policy across different years and timings of adaptation. But I'll work that out with my mentor by God's grace. Then the proposed variables of interest, dependent variable will be the adolescent fertility and education and literacy. That's talking about different models now. Then dependent variable, education, wealth index, region, religion, ethnicity, parental education, and some other variables that have been documented in literature to explain adolescent fertility. The comparative variable is the CRA adoption, whether or not you have adopted the policy. 1, it takes the value of 1 if you have, and takes the value of 0 if the state hasn't. And that brings me to the end of my presentation. Thank you very much for listening.
All right. We would like to welcome questions and comments from colleagues, after which we'll go to the faculty. Questions coming from colleagues. Except you're not listening. Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you very much for the presentation. I also want to find out.
Okay.
You have done a very good job.
That's perfect.
Looking at the time constraint, I was wondering how you come up with so much. So you are really listening. So I want to find out, do you intend to do a trend analysis? Because you talked about NHS data 20. Do you want to follow the trends, or you're going to use the latest version?
Okay.
So I want to know that there are scenarios why you instead of this. So it will be better to so I don't evaluate yourself. So you're looking at state first. So when I'm going to talk about the trends, because the states, because those years, too much.
Okay.
So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ma, for that. Should I respond to that? Okay, to the topic. Okay.
Thank you very much. I was wondering if this looks like a seminar paper.
Okay.
So it's beyond the concept that we were expecting.
Oh, okay.
So, which is very good actually. And I appreciate your dedication. So, as it looks, the regulations for adolescent fertility and school enrollment. I missed that part. What is the dependent variable?
Dependent, these are actually the outcomes. So, yes, both of them.
So your key explanative variable is what?
It's education in this case for fertility. It just depends on the model. Like there will be different models, so these are 2 different, models, but there are 2 objectives. Okay.
Yes, I know you usually say we shouldn't even formulate topics.
Okay.
We shouldn't have putting the footballer and then.
Okay.
The importance of what I'm trying to say is about the clarity of the direction.
Topic.
The topic, so that you don't mix it up from the beginning.
Okay.
And I'm sure that this is the concept that we're dedicating on. It can still be defined and all that. So, beyond this, you are looking at the fact that certain number of states have adopted child and some of them are not. I'm looking at how that would be kind of key explanatory variable.
It's not an explanatory variable, it's a comparative. So it's to group the cohorts. Yes, versus and seeing how the model interplays in each cohort, basically. It's not a variable in the model. It's to group the analysis, basically. So you are running this when it's equal to 1, and you are running the model again when it's equal to 0. 0 means people that have not adopted, and 1 means people that, states that have adopted the policy. Do you understand me?
I don't understand.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Let me just wait till my turn.
Okay.
So you pick it one by one.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I hope I don't forget.
if you say one is 0, the other is 1, then to use logistic regression. Is that the basis for deciding to use logistic regression?
No. That's what I'm saying. It's not a variable in the model at all. CRO is not a variable in the model at all. It gives a basis for grouping the models into two. So I'm running the same analysis among those I've adopted, adolescents and its explanatory variables. Adolescent fertility as the outcome variable and the explanatory variables. Do you understand? And I'm running the second one, but I'm running it in 2 different cohorts. Just like saying I want to know cognitive skills among male and female, but the gender is not a variable in the model. It's just to define the different cohorts that the analysis is going to be run.
Why I got confused was
Okay.
you said one is 1, the other is
No. It's just to say that how I will group. No. It's not a variable in the model.
And maybe I should just suggest this. Instead of saying equations for adolescent fertility and school, because we want to look at how that facility among adolescents is influencing the school. So why not equations
Okay.
of this?
Okay.
Of this?
Okay.
Maybe I should just say this now.
All right,
I'm
sir.
not waiting my turn.
Okay, sir.
The way this title is structured is looking more like you are writing a report.
Okay.
The word implication, how are you going to measure it? So you should be looking for more scientific people like influence, effect,
Okay.
and the rest of them.
All right, sir. Okay.
Please other people before we go to perspective. Or actually, maybe you should respond first to the two.
Okay, I think I responded to.
Okay, you were responding as I was talking.
Yes, I am.
So, Dr. Adeoye.
Yes, you asked me, ma. Thank you very much for your question, ma. And you asked if I want to do a trend analysis. I'm not doing a trend analysis, but I'm also conscious of the fact that the Child Rights Act, for example, it was in 2003, and there's only like a standard DHS before then. That was 1999. The first state that actually adopted the policy adopted it 2 years after the policy was passed. So, and that was Plateau State. So I'm looking at if it's possible, because if I just take, for example, 2013, as 2013, there's still some states that have not adopted at that time, but have adopted now. So if it's possible to maybe at a particular time that, I know 2018, many of them to give me like the overall, but it could also be good to check, go back in time for states that have adopted earlier and see how they are faring compared to states that adopt later. I don't know if that makes sense. Okay. Okay. Okay.
Not necessarily bring to analysis.
Okay. Okay.
Because the current situation should come in 2018.
18.
So I think using that alone should be the main focus.
Okay.
But it's not out of place to now, when you're writing, say, okay, these few ones adopted earlier, these are maybe suggesting the reason why they will be doing better, because they are meant to better. So but I don't think you should bring them to your
Okay.
understand.
Okay, ma'am. All right. Okay. Thank you very much, ma'am.
All right, so
No, it's Prof. Ali. It's Prof. saying anything. Prof. Asha, I don't know if you want to.
no, I'll talk before Prof.
Oh, okay.
Ebola don't bear. All right, so Azan has really done quite justice to some of my concerns, but I still have a few. I must first commend you for the very nice and quick literature review here. But I'm still, can we go to the slide? I'm not really getting the problem statement. I don't know whether it's me to begin with. So can you just take that again? What really is the problem statement? As in the gap you really want to fill here now.
It's the evaluation of the policy itself. That's the gap. The evaluation of the intervention that the government has, proposed at a particular time period, and checking the effectiveness of that on the problem, which is child marriage.
There are lots of confounders that will come up. I don't know whether you've started saying that. As in saying this really as the fact that you have a policy and you have supposedly adopted the policy. How do you measure whether it was actually implemented? There are a lot of things. States pick policies and then they have it on their table. I'm telling from experience, we've done a lot of evaluation. Then you get to the people, they say, where is it? We have a copy of the policy. Can you tell us this chapter of the policy or whatever? You'll find out that they just have the policy. They're not using it. How are you going to deal with that so that you can begin to say truly, this you are finding is actually why it is this? I'm just thinking around that.
Yes, sir.
So that you begin to look at that you're sure. Because in fact, that's why you might not be talking in terms of implication, because you can't really hit it.
Yes. That's true.
So yes, you'll probably be looking at effect, because then at the end of the day you can put on limitations. The fact that you can't really measure those part of it and things like that. That's my first concern. The second concern is that you're talking about using MITS and NDHS. I hope the variables are available in both.
Yes, sir.
You've
checked
that.
Yes, I have.
Then I noticed that you outcome variables. Let's go to that slide.
Okay, sir.
So that means move back.
Okay.
So some of these are going to change.
Yes, sir.
They
will change.
All these are going to
change. Yes, sir.
Here, yes. Your dependent variables. So how many dependent variables do you have now?
Just one for each model.
2.
Yes, one for each model. Objective 1, the other one 2.
All right.
Yes, sir.
So you're running that of the education effect on education separately.
Yes, sir. Then fertility separately.
And then you're using the same set of independent variables.
Depending on the context.
I don't know. Are we not? I have great statisticians around. At that level, is the dependent variable not becoming? Are the models going to be separate, or we're dealing with multivariate?
No, they are separate. Strictly separate.
Strictly separate.
Yes, sir. Separate models.
Prof, sir, when you have multiple dependent variables, what should we be doing?
Multiple dependent variable.
Yes.
It's just a single dependent variable.
It's
a single dependent variable per time. One is addressing objective 1, the other one is addressing objective 2. They are very different, distinct.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
It should be separate model.
Yes, sir.
Yes, now.
The challenge here will be the fact that in a single paper we have
2. That's why I'm wondering.
Dependent
variables.
And each of them measuring different objectives in the same paper. That's probably 2 papers in one.
Okay. Yeah, so that's why I'm a bit, because I'm asking, because there are 2 major things you are running now. If you are not running on one objective, in which one to analyze like 2 variables, please take it to that single objective.
Okay.
You understand?
Yes, sir.
Now? That's why, if there are truly 2 different objectives, then we probably this goes on. But if it's like you have 2, 3 dependent variables, still speaking to that one objective.
So what do you suggest? Should I drop one of them or?
Maybe I'll let Prof talk on that.
Okay.
That education, let me go start from here. You want to merge, or you want to append, or you want to independently use the mix and the end user?
No, independently. I've not done a thorough check to know what is missing here. Which one should I settle for? So I'm not merging them. I'm not using them together. I'm using one, just one of them.
Okay, so which one is MIT speaking to? Which one is NHS speaking to?
No, I'm just using one entirely. But I've not. Yes,
because you've not really.
I've not gone through mix very well to see which one is more preferable.
This is what I'm looking at here. I
Yes,
think we are better off with NGHS.
Okay.
Yes.
I also noticed that in NDHS that there is really no single variable called adolescent childbirth. You have to derive it. Maybe separate their age, the age of the respondent, and the age at first birth. Then you subtract to discover that variable. But I don't know what the case is in mix. Okay.
Now you're also talking about, this is my last one, Hassan asked repeatedly. You want to look at states, don't mind me. I want to get your analysis plan clear in my head.
Okay, sir.
You said something about states that have adopted,
yes, sir.
States that have not adopted. You are not at any point comparing the two?
Comparing like how, sir?
No, what she's talking about, comparing in terms of
Okay.
those who have adopted.
Yes.
And then the implication.
Yes, I'm comparing them.
That's the basis for the comparison.
Yes, sir.
Whether you have adopted,
Yes, sir.
whether you have not adopted.
Yes, sir.
So in a way, I would think she's going to do like 4 million. 2 for those who have adopted.
And those who have not adopted.
That's for fertility review. Education as well for adopted.
Because if you are not, because if it's not like you are comparing the two, and you want to just pick it like that, that's what I'm beginning to think that it's a different thing. You know, adopted, not adopted is like saying you are very rural, urban.
Yes,
it's
sir.
the basis for the background.
Yes,
sir. You are at liberty that you are running separate models and say, look, this is the situation in the rural, this is the situation in the urban, this is the situation those that have adopted. Or you are saying, okay, is there a difference between those who have adopted or those who have not adopted? You need to have this very clear. In your mind.
All right, sir.
In my thinking, sir. Prof, sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
Actually, you have said it all. I like troubleshooting actually. So that's very good. Left to me, I would have suggested school enrollment as an intervening factor.
Okay.
And then we look strictly on fertility behavior on adolescents. So that your independent variables, of course, will be more than this. We will not look into what's the direct relationship between all these independent factors on fertility behavior, and then we look at the indirect relationship through school enrollment on that. And then we'll go into a comparative analysis of states who have adopted and states who have not adopted.
Okay.
So that's my thinking. How do you plan to measure fertility behavior?
Adolescent childbirth, those who had a child before 18. Strictly.
Okay, at least a child.
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay. You are not interested in
Number of children.
No. Because we're talking adolescent, you are not interested in pregnancy. Over pregnancy.
Okay.
Because some pregnancy may not actually result into that.
That's true.
And if it doesn't result into that, you will miss out those people. And because we're talking about adolescents, I'm just thinking aloud. Because I'm also worried about the sample size of those whom we have given back within that age range. Are we looking at 15 to 29 or 15 to 19?
Which one do you think, sir?
I would
I'm thinking around it.
Because if this is going out, you should use the standard yes, sir, maybe 15 to 24 as different from 15 to 29. So that you don't start explaining to journalists why you are using 29 and things like that. And that will now come back to Prof concern about sample size and the rest of them.
So probably I should consider pregnancy instead, sir.
Have you romanced the data?
No, I'm still romancing the data.
frequency distribution,
Okay.
and let's get the sample size for ever pregnant within that group, and then ever pregnant within that group and ever deliver within that group, so as to know which one. So, definitely this topic we have to free when you really get the stuff. So the adolescent, the fertility behavior 0-1, never pregnant, never pregnant, or never given birth, never given birth. The education, if you look at the education that you have there, it's also repeated in independent behaviors. Because you have it in mind, two
models,
two dependent variables.
Yes, sir.
I will just suggest to have one dependent variable,
Okay, sir.
and then we look at how do you intend to measure school enrollment?
I think
Is there a variable
education.
like
No. Like there are like 3 different measurements that I know. One is number of years, like education in terms of number of years. Another one is in categories, no education, primary, secondary, tertiary. Then there is literacy. So whether you can read or write. So I think I would need to think about which one is best suitable for this.
The indicator for enrollment is different from what you are picking.
Yes. I'm talking in terms of education, just education actually. Education.
So I can quickly say that the indicator for enrollment is not that.
Yes.
From what we found out, agreement between NY, it's not. So you need to, they'll be talking about maybe percentage of those that and things like that. So
let's change it to education.
it may just be education, not school enrollment.
Then, Prof, you're talking about using education as an intervening variable. Are you saying like what's it called now? The name is, I'm saying it with as it's flown away from my head. Are you talking about an interaction or just it being in the model, or an interacting both variables?
I mentioned
Intervening, okay.
in order to have direct effect of that intervening variable of fertility, and then the indirect effect of the social demographic variables through the intervening to the outcome variable.
All right, sir.
That's what I'm thinking of.
Okay, sir.
Now that you cannot, and that's why I was asking, so what is school enrollment? How do you measure school enrollment? Definitely looking at out of school. No, not out of school. Never in school.
Never in school.
Okay, so if years of schooling is equal to 0, or level of education is equal to 0, those ones are yet to be enrolled.
Okay.
Or rather, they are not enrolled.
Okay.
But the moment anybody from primary education, he or she must have been enrolled at one point in time. I think Hassan will help us out more to generate a variable that has to do with school enrollment. If school enrollment is not actually captured, because what we're now thinking, our justification now is if years of schooling is 0 as at the time of the survey, or the level of education is 0 as at the time of the survey. If years of schooling is 0, it then means level of education should be 0. So now we are also going to be faced with the problem of what do we understand by literacy? Because Quranic education is also there.
A form of education.
It's also a form of education. Nomadic education is also there.
That's true.
And I think that's somewhere that you're going to make use of ethnicity.
Yes, independent.
So if you're going to look at what is happening up there, I don't know how you're going to. Okay, so we need to really agree on what constitutes school enrollment.
Education.
Otherwise, we just stay with level of education.
Okay, sir.
And as a factor. So this may be too bogus. The topic is needs to be reviewed.
Okay, sir.
To clearly show from left to right.
Okay, sir.
From the independent factors to
the dependent
factor. I also need you to have this conceptual framework somewhere in you, so that it will clearly show to us the direction of the relationship, and that's what we're measuring. And that's why I try to put up influence of on. Okay, it may sound as if it's an undergraduate topic, but then the content will actually show to us. Now you're focusing on adolescents 15 to 24. Okay, and then probably need to move on there. Okay. The issue of implication.
Okay.
We may want to look at states who have adopted and states who have not adopted. But then what Dr. Bulede said comes to play. Adoption is actually different from implementation. So we may be silent on implementation if there is no variable that will measure implementation. Okay? Well, it may be limitation to the data. Okay? But we can still look at what is happening among those who have adopted and those who have not adopted. If we find out that the behavior is better among those who have adopted, definitely we will begin to talk about the fact that the policy is being implemented. That's a dangerous assumption. Actually.
That's true. You have to touch it with caution. That's true. That's true. That's true.
But you have done well, actually, you have done well. I particularly like these comparative graphs that you show. So, pick it up from there. Let's have a refined one.
Okay, sir.
Before Thursday.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. I'm sorry. I was about packing my loot. Okay.
That is whether they have adopted
or not adopted. Like the word comparative. Okay. Change it to basis for comparison.
That basis is and I get that people notice that, yes.
The dependent variable that you have education and literacy, I don't know which those are defining the school enrollment, because I'm not even saying.
No, we have already Prof already addressed that, so that's going to change. Variable. Thank you very much, sir.
Actually, the initial thing when she talked to me yesterday was I was thinking of measuring the effect of adoption on fertility behavior. Okay, you either adopt or you are not adopted, and that's what is actually suggesting the binary logistics stuff. But looking at what she presented now, adoption is not actually the main thing, in the now. So if there is, okay, let's just stay the way we have, and let's see how we can move on. It's really mind-blowing.
Thank you very much.
Well done once again. Let's clap for all right. Yeah, you can. And this also. So who is coming up next? The other Adoye. All right. Okay. Maybe before we have Dr. Adu, the tea break is ready.
Let's
I hope it's coffee.
let's have it. Let's have it.
No, let's after it.
What's the energy to worship?
What's the
Energy to attack me.
energy and go on it. Let's quickly go for tea break. Let's do tea break and come back.
All right.